They did so through a court order. It is unclear what investigators wanted with the records or if the senators were targets of the investigation into the events of the insurrection and plans to deny the American people a free and fair transfer of power. Attorney General Bondi says her Justice Department is now working to return what she insists is its core mission, fighting real crime.
They were playing politics with law enforcement powers and will go down as a historic betrayal of public trust. This is the kind of conduct that shatters the American people's faith in our law enforcement system.
Let's bring in CNN's Evan Perez, who's been watching this hearing all day. Evan, how would you describe Bondi's strategy overall in this hearing?
Jake, look, I think she came there with a mission, right? And a lot of it was in those binders that she had there. She had one-liners that seemed tailored for every specific Democratic senator. She knew what they were going to come after her for, and she took it and redirected it straight back at them. And you saw a lot of them seem completely unprepared, really, for this, for what was coming, despite the fact that really we saw a similar performance a couple of weeks ago from Kash Patel, the FBI director. So it's kind of remarkable to me to watch that hearing unfold and to see these Democratic senators not seem to know what the playbook was, right? What we saw, though, the Attorney General defending the conduct that she's been overseeing at the Justice Department, the accusations that the president has been giving her essentially orders of which political enemies to go after. And of course, we don't need to imagine some of that because we saw the social media posting from the president right after he fired the U.S. attorney, his own appointed U.S. attorney nominee in the Eastern District of Virginia, and then, of course, getting that indictment of James Comey. So that is not an imaginary set of conversations. But Bondi was very, very ready to turn this into another type of weaponization discussion, which was that discussion that you just saw highlighted about those phone records. There's a lot of misunderstanding, I think, about it, partly because we don't know a lot about what went on in that investigation, but it certainly left a lot for those senators to work with there.
So there were a lot of perfectly reasonable questions the Democratic senators were seeking answers on. Did we learn anything new about these ongoing Justice Department issues? Comey's prosecution, the Epstein files, the phone records from the Jack Smith investigation?
No, not very much. We know she did say that there is an ongoing investigation into those phone records. So presumably, if there was some wrongdoing, we will find out about it from the Justice Department in the coming months, Jake. We also, she refused to really dignify any question about the Tom Homan investigation. And she refused to even discuss the Justice Department authorization, whatever legal opinion has been provided to the president for those attacks on the supposed narco-trafficking boats on the Caribbean Sea. By the way, at another hearing, we learned from an Army official that there is a Justice Department memo on that, Jake. So the Attorney General didn't want to tell us, but we learned about it in another hearing.
All right, Evan Perez, thanks so much. Let's bring in CNN legal analyst Carrie Cordero and Politico's Ankush Kardori. Ankush, you're also a former prosecutor at the Justice Department. Ahead of today's hearing, you went back and you watched every time Attorney General Bondi went on TV this year. And after seeing her roughly 100 appearances, you concluded, quote, Bondi has emerged as perhaps the most openly political and partisan Attorney General in modern American history. First of all, that's quite a stark assessment. Second of all, how did her appearance today square with all those other appearances, roughly 100 appearances, none of which were on NBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, MSNBC? They were all on conservative media or public situations.
She did do a couple on ABC.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I stand corrected.
One outside on the White House lawn and one for the digital side of
okay.
ABC.
That's why I missed them.
Yeah. So, yeah, it is a stark assessment. Honestly, I was a little anxious about putting that assessment out into the world, but I think she proved it right today. I was really taken aback. What we saw was the essence of her approach over the last 8 months in office, which has been partisan. It's been